that Dean, like, maybe cares about what's happening.
That's actually sooner than I assumed it would be.
Because, I mean, if he really did just want to die, then, like, it doesn't matter who has the contract, but he does want to find out who has it. So, like, that's something. Baby steps.
Yeah. I would argue, though, that counts as trying to welch on the deal, and he should have been dragged into hell.
Yeah. I mean, Sam shooting this demon in the face absolutely should have got him killed.
Yeah, I guess the demons were a little lax this season.
Yeah, I don't think that the terms and conditions were completely what we were told that they were. We really should have had a piece of paper that we...
And I also don't think that if they wanted to drag Sam back into hell, like, plausible deniability on Dean's behalf wouldn't have been enough to stop them from being like, oh, well, you tried to welch on the deal. Like, Sam literally went out and shot a crossroads demon. Are you telling us that you didn't know that was going to happen? Like,
and Sam did know, too. Like, Dean had already told Sam that if we try and get out of this deal, you're going to die again. Like, Sam can't even have plausible deniability.
Part of me's just thinking that Crowley was watching, like, no, I just want to see what happens next. These guys are idiots.
I'm sure the demons are just, like, in need of entertainment or whatever. And, like,
we're so bored.
There's also the fact that, like, a lot of demons don't actually want Sam dead. So there's that, too. I think that is part of what's keeping them alive at this point. It's just that other people are interested in seeing where it's going.
Like, if you guys stop being, like, important court jesters, then you're done.
Yeah. Dean then berates Sam for doing something that could have killed him, but Sam pretty much shrugs and says, you're my brother, I'm gonna try anything, get used to this and fuck off.
Get a t-shirt with that on it for Sam. So many arguments could just be ended if you...
And then they go and they talk to the aunt of Sheila. The aunt's name is Miss Case, and she has taken a liking to Sam. It's very uncomfortable.
Yes, it is.
She found her niece drowned in the shower, which is, I mean, I can't believe she drowned after all of that throwing around. She didn't die of, like, a brain hemorrhage or something.
Yeah. I kind of, like, want to know, like, what the ghost's, like, motive is for actually, like, throwing her around, because I think it's the only death where that happens. Like, Bela just kind of collapses in the graveyard when she's choking, and, like, the guy in the car just is kind of sitting there. But, like, this chick, he was like, I'm gonna throw her from side to side in this confined shower space, just for the drama.
Just like, I'm so excited to kill again. I've been
It's been 37 years.
And then he gets bored by the time he gets to the second one.
He was just, like, a little bit rusty. He was out of practice, you know, he was... It's a little like riding a bike. He still knows how to do it, but he's a bit wobbly the first time.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, it's squirming. Oh, no.
The course of their questions leads Miss Case to think they're working with someone named Alex, and they are just like, yeah, sure, we're definitely working with Alex, even though they have no idea who that is. And then she's like, well, Sheila, like, saw the boat right before she died, and it disappeared, and it was a ghost ship, and Alex was like, yeah, it's probably a ghost ship. And then, like, Gert, like, touches Sam's hand, and he's very clearly uncomfortable.
Okay, ma'am, your niece just died. Could you be a little less horny?
Please. Yeah. And it's so uncomfy. Sam's, like, 24, max. He's either 23 or 24.
He's a baby.
Like, he is so young.
Yeah. I did have a note that when that happened, the ill face that Sam made was the same face that I made. And I felt very seen in that moment.
Yeah. They're leaving, and Dean's, like, teasing Sam a bit, and Sam tells Dean to bite him, and Dean comes back with, oh, not if she bites you first. And, like, there's no hesitation, there's no thinking. It's, like, a gut response from Dean, and, like, that's a thing of beauty. You can't, you're just born with that.
I just had the most cruel response in my head.
And then Sam's like, every 37 years, there's dry land drownings around here and ghostly ship sightings, and there's probably going to be more deaths. And he's like, I thought I could narrow down the ships and the shipwrecks, but he's like, there are 150 that could possibly be it, and that's too many.
Here in the ocean, ships be wrecked a lot.
They get back to where they thought they parked the car, and Baby's gone, and, like, Dean starts immediately screaming.
Having an actual panic attack.
And then hyperventilating. Someone touched his car, and it's not good. And Bela walks up, and she had the car towed because it was in a towaway zone, and they're like, it wasn't. And she's like, it was when I was finished with it.
I love Bela her. Is iconic.
I love her so much.
She's perfect. And you know what? As much as Dean loves his car, he's never once locked it. So she probably just got in and drove away. So, you know what? They asked for that.
So really, actually, that's on him.
That's victim blaming.
Sam immediately puts the pieces together that she's Alex, and she's like, yeah, Gert is an old friend of mine, and I have this whole network of rich old women that I provide supernatural services for. And, like, way to make some money, girl. I love Bela so much.
Imagine being part of that, like, I don't know, like, you know how most people, like, I don't know about you guys, but like I know a lot of older people who are involved in like knitting clubs or like book club, like, you know, and they're like part of the secret occult club, and it's just like all of these older ladies just like catching up on all their new trinkets.
I feel like we've already had an episode about that.
It's kind of a mood.
They just like have seances with their dead cats and
Yeah.
magical like charms to have good fortune and stuff. Like,
Get it, Gert? Like, good job.
But I also feel like that's kind of the entire plot of bloody Malleus Maleficarum.
yeah.
They're like, it's a book club. No, it's a cult of witches.
The boys are just morally outraged by Bela's existence. Like, does she exist? But like, I'm sorry you two weren't smart enough to monetize your skills. She looked at this and she said, I can make some money here, and you didn't, and that's not her fault.
I mean, there are other things that are her fault, but like the monetizing thing is not. Like
The fact that you don't ask people to pay you is not her fault.
Yeah.
Sam's like, how do you sleep at night? And she says, in silk sheets, naked, rolling in money. And I'm like, Bella, girl, do you craft me company? Because I'll volunteer. That sounds like a good time.
I'll leave you two if you just give me some money.
I'll just like chuck it.
Thank you.
I'm sure Bella has a balcony I could chuck money off of. Like, that just seems like her vibe. Bella is really surprised that Sam is catching an attitude with her, and then he reminds her that she shot him. And you know what? I had also forgotten about that, so it doesn't surprise me that it wasn't on the forefront of Bella's mind either. But she tells Sam not to be a traumatic bitch, and it was a graze, and he's clearly fine, so she's out.
Yeah, but his hurt feelings, KJ.
Listen, no one loves Sam more than I do, but he is being a tad bit dramatic.
It was just a graze, like.
As far as Sam Winchester versus gunshot wounds, not even in the top 5. Bella shoots them a chow and then pieces out, and Dean's like, "Can I shoot her?" And Sam says, "Not in public," which is, I mean, that's iconic.
My favorite response.
Love it. There are so many good lines.
Well, we've already established in this episode that being a smartass does qualify you to shoot it. So
that is true. But yeah, that used to be a sound on TikTok. Like, it was like going around. It was very, I don't think people knew it was from Supernatural, to be honest.
I'm not surprised.
There are so many good lines in this episode.
Then we're with a new guy in the bathroom, and he's also wearing just like blue boxers, and his tub is running super dark, and it's again way too full, just like Andrea in season 1, episode 3, Down the Water. Like, just don't run your tub.
They clearly don't understand the like concept of displacement. Like, as soon as you get in that, your whole bathroom is just going to be flooded, man.
Yep.
I mean, he seems like rich enough to have a huge bathroom, so I'm assuming he has a housekeeper.
I mean, still,
it
why?
also just seems so wasteful. Like, water wastage is a massive problem.
Yeah, I mean, and like, how are you comfy? Like, okay, you get in the bathtub and you like spill all that water. How can you then sit in the bathtub knowing how much water you just spilled all over the place? Like, even if it's not your job to clean it, you're gonna step in that when you get out. It's gonna be cold on the floor. Like,
you're gonna slip. You're gonna conk your head. You're gonna knock yourself out.
And you would have done it to yourself, and we couldn't blame anyone else.
If you just turned the water off a little sooner, it wouldn't be having this problem that we're having.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Also, I want to point out, I didn't notice it the first time I watched this episode, but I know, obviously I wasn't writing a note or whatever this time when I watched it. When he grabs like the neck and it has like the veins appear on the forehead, he sort of raises his eyebrows, but the veins don't move. They're delayed by half a second and then they move.
It's incredible.
It's like they've overlaid them in special effects, but they haven't made them move relative to like where his eyebrows are. But then they've been like, oh shit, we've got to move him to match his eyebrows. So it's like he moves his eyebrows and then they move. It looks so weird.
Incredible.
This stuff.
Should have just
Like,
put a makeup on him. Like,
you're watching this man getting literally murdered, and you're like, oh my god, his facial veins.
Like, they're just not in sync with like the movement of his face.
Never underestimate Supernatural's like ability to have a bad special effect. It's a little more excusable back like 2007. You know, special effects used to be very, very expensive and like not as good as they are now. But like in the later seasons, like there are some questionable special effects that happen.
Also, listen, if you
time.
watch enough murder on TV, you just get to the point where you can like critique how they do the murder.
Generally, TV special effects tend to be less than a movie, just budget wise. But like still,
Unless it's like Game of Thrones.
No, that's okay. Like, I fully understand why they're bad. I'm calling it out because I thought it was so funny. And I don't think anyone, like, no one really looks to see, like, but I noticed it and now I can't unsee it. It's like,
I've seen this episode many times and I've never noticed. So I'm really glad that the next time I watch this episode, I will probably
look for a
be looking
specific
for it.
Yeah, it's when he's getting, like, choked and you can see, like, the veins appear on his forehead. Then, like, yeah, they don't move with his face the way they should.
The guy, he also, like, leans way over the water. water. Like, he's like, the water like turns dark, and he like leans his whole upper body over the tub, and I'm like, you don't have to lean over the. I don't know what else bad.
Like, how big is the bathtub, and where is the plug located that he has to like get his entire body over it to reach the parlor?
If the water was all dark like that, I would just turn it off and leave. I would not be risking anything.
Yeah, I'm not sticking my hand in there.
I'd be like, yeah, no, I'll deal with that another day. Like, I'm not dealing. Like, I'm procrastinating that bullshit. Like,
if Supernatural has taught me anything, it's that if my bath water starts running the wrong color, I should just leave. I should just fuck right off.
You should be out of the water and out of the bathroom. Like,
there's going to be a hand in there.
And also, don't overfill your tub.
Yeah, that too. Or just take showers where you can get thrown around.
All those things will help keep you safe. Then, like, that guy gets strangled. Bella is posing as a reporter. She's talking to the victim's brother, who also saw the ghost ship while they were night diving together. Literally nothing he says is important, because literally since we last saw Sam and Dean like 60 to 90 seconds ago, Sam's hair has reverted back to season 1. The bangs are back on the forehead. He's wearing like a glue shirt. He looks so goofy.
Speaking of like noticing random things, these are important things to notice, but not easily noticed.
The progression of Sam's hair is a very important topic.
It is.
And it's back to normal by the next scene.
I'm still waiting for them to put in a ponytail.
You're going to be waiting a while.
A while.
Too long.
But Bela comes up behind the boys while they're manhandling shotguns in broad daylight and tells him to mind his blood pressure. And Bella's like, you can't save the brother in time. You should focus on finding the ship itself, which is what she's going to be doing. And Dean's like, how did you get like this? And calls her soulless and asks if her daddy didn't give her enough hugs. And she wastes 0 seconds in flipping that table back around and asking Dean if his daddy gave him enough hugs. And the answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is very clearly no.
Clearly no. Also, like, Dean calling someone soulless when literally, like, he has a soul, but, like, he doesn't own his own soul at the moment. Like, his soul is on low.
Bro, you sold it.
Like, it's a lot.
Like, he's currently just got his soul until, like, he gets it evicted. Like,
his soul is essentially on lay-by to hell. Like,
yeah. And Bella also is like, don't look down your nose at me. Like, you do this because of vengeance and obsession, and you're, like, one stone's throw away from being a serial killer. And, like, he literally is legally a serial killer. Like, the FBI is actively looking for him because he is a serial killer in their eyes.
I mean, he's a serial killer in anyone's eyes. Like, just because his victims aren't human doesn't mean doesn't have victims.
but I mean, Bella's just doing it to get paid, and I respect the hell out of that.
Me too. And, like, they call what they do a job, but it is very much not. It's like a lifestyle, and it's super messed up and traumatizing. But, like, Bella literally does it as a job. Like, she does her little occulty black market stuff, and then she gets paid and she goes home and she sleeps in her apartment with her cat. Like, she clocks in and she clocks out.
On silk sheets, naked, rolling in money.
yeah.
Bella really just has the work-life balance that we all strive for.
Yeah, and a cat.
Yes, that's a cat. That's important.
Always important to go home at the end of the day and sleep in silk sheets on piles of money naked. Like,
With a cat.
Sam's like, okay, like, we have work to do. Like, leave us alone. So they all go their separate ways. They're watching the brother of the victim, and he's just going about his business, and Sam and Dean are staking out his house, and they're normal, boring millionaire dudes. They went to the same college. They inherited $112 million in real estate back in 2001, and neither of them have criminal records, and they have nothing in common with Sheila, as far as Sam can tell.
Oh, that's very infuriating.
Yeah, and then this dude comes marching out of his house saying, like, you're not cops, you're not dressed like cops, you're in this crappy car. He's also wearing a blue shirt, by the way.
Dean cannot catch a fucking break about the Impala this episode, can he? Like, Bella's stolen it, it's been impounded, this guy calls it crappy.
but also considering how ugly his car is, I don't think he really has, like, room to... Like, I'm sure for 2004 that was, like, a sleek car, but if you look at it now, it's like, oh yeah, that looks like every bad car that was ever made in the 90s.
I know,
like,
it's the shittiest beige car. This guy is an uber millionaire and drives... At first I thought this was a Toyota Corolla, but now I think it's a 2006 Mercedes-Benz Class C 230 sedan.
Very different to a Toyota Corolla.
Why is it beige? Are you a Kardashian?
Someone who knows cars, please tell me if that's correct. But, like, it's a Mercedes, but it's brown.
it's an ugly ass Mercedes. Like, Mercedes makes some lovely cars, but also
It's brown.
As far as Mercedes go, it also was definitely on the low end in terms of cost.
Yeah.
I did look up the price. It's like a $30,000 to $50,000 car, which, you know, when you're a millionaire is nothing.
Pocket change.
and his car immediately just like isn't working. And so the boys go running for the salt guns, but they're too late to save Peter because there's a ghost in his car and he starts choking up water.
Oh no, Peter.
I want to know because, okay, so the first victim, Sheila, he waits until she gets into the shower to murder her. That's great. Well, lovely. There's water there. That makes sense. The second victim, he waits until he's in the bathroom with water to try and murder him. Why does he just kill the other dude in the car?
Actually, that's a good point, because if